wherever you go, it is the context that makes you either unhappy or happy, or allows you to be productive. It's not just the money, it's the context and the place. You have drought and you have famine, and then you have great harvests. These are the cycles that follow a researcher. So we have had all of those. And instead of making me cynical, it has made me realize that how human nature operates, whether it be in science, even though science requires honesty and it requires truthfulness and it is verifiable. There is a dearth of good scientists. There are a dearth of people who want to take the oath of poverty in science and work on things that would change. This is a huge country and there's a huge number of laboratories, and so it's very competitive to find good people. Otherwise, I think we would be making much faster progress right now in terms of bringing solutions to the clinic. A lot of funds have been generated through private, and they have gone towards treatments because people who are dying, they need treatments. And as a physician, I feel very strongly for them. But lots of those treatments are not based upon any scientific evidence that is strong, because the mechanism of disease is not fully understood. And the causes are only known for about 8 to 10% of cases. So in a way, it is sort of whistling in the dark sort of a situation. So that's my physician hat, that I feel very strongly for my patient and that something needs to be done and should be done, and the treatments brought to the clinic as quickly as possible. But on the other hand, I wear a scientific cap. I don't want the world to be misled by pseudoscience, or don't want to be misled by things that don't stand up to examination. And so the pressure is on the FDA to accept any or everything, even with the slightest data. It's a big difference between a statistical significance of something and a clinical significance of something. So that is a problem that is very difficult to resolve, because there is pressure, and rightfully so, from people who are ill and dying. And then there is the scientific issue that, is this really useful? We have the wherewithal to be able to collaborate and organize international, national collaborations to find the answers. But science is not done by committee. Science has to be first done in a way that fulfills the basic understanding of the processes. Then, in order to enhance and activate and accelerate, one collaborates to make it happen. Lots of organizations mandate mindless collaboration. It doesn't go anywhere. People sit around a table, talk every month, and go home. And the other problem is the marriage of the academia with the industry. And some degree of relationship is good, but when it gets to the point that all the scientists can think about is how to get rich of patents and their knowledge, then it becomes an absurdity in terms of science, which requires free communication. We have interacted freely with our colleagues and sometimes have been at loss. For example, in one case, we communicated a new gene that we had discovered, first mitochondrial gene related to ALS, to colleagues in France, and they went ahead and published it. So we moved on. And so this, as I said, is part of human nature. And people will work differently. It doesn't mean that everybody behaves in this fashion. There are lots of very honest people with great integrity in science, and that's why science continues to move ahead. The problem is that the patients of today or yesterday are gone, except in the cases where the disease runs in families. And so the memory is gone once the relatives also pass away, or the immediate problem is not there. they have no representation. Their only representation is on the person who has the disease today. The person who is going to get the disease tomorrow has no representation, and those who have gone by have very little representation. And so the new generation of patients are new, and they don't necessarily know what has gone in the past. And when these futile treatments fail, the next generation will also not know. And so that's a problem of transmission. That's the problem for the scientists and physicians to understand, because they have the landscape. They inherit the landscape from their mentors and colleagues and so forth, to understand that they must be honest and truthful to their patients without having them to lose hope.